No, you don't have to start over, please don't.
Upon completion of the commission's questions, I will ask if there's anyone in the audience wishing to speak at this request. If there is, I will ask the person who filled out the speaker card to come to the podium, state their name and address for the record, and give their testimony. When all testimony is complete, I will ask commission members for a motion to close the public hearing. Did we change that, where we don't have to ask for new motions?
Just make 3 calls, and if there's no one to respond, then you may close it.
The chair just closes the public hearing, okay. If there's no further input will be taken once the public hearing is closed, unless you're recognized by the chair or one of the commission members is seeking clarification. The commission will review and discuss the findings of fact. The findings are a series of questions that the commission is required to answer based on Minnesota statute and the requirements of the ordinance. We have no one attending virtually this evening, I believe. Okay. Then we will move on to the meeting. We'll take a roll call. District 1, Cindy Harner.
Here.
District 2, Dave Bentrude is absent. District 3, Greg Fredericks is absent. District 4, Dave Knafla.
Here.
I'm Leroy Gondner from District 5. At-large member Rick Blankish.
Here.
At-large Angie Tomovic.
Here.
Ex officio member County Commissioner Joe Persky.
Here.
Thank you. We will recite, stand and we'll recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, with that, we'll start with our first agenda item. The applicants are Dave and Julia Wick. If you'd care to come forward. They're here to consider a conditional use permit request for an after-the-fact major shoreland alteration, according to sections 10.2.14D and 10.2.14I of the Stearns County Land Use and Zoning Ordinance 439. The request includes retaining walls constructed on steep slopes within the building setback of Cedar Island Lake. The property is part of Government Lot 3 in Section 31 of Wakefield Township. The address of the property is 18598 Cedar Lane, Richmond, Minnesota. I'll ask the members who visited the site. I did. Cindy?
Yes, I did.
Dave?
I did for their application for variance.
Okay. Rich?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
And Commissioner Persky?
Yes.
We'll ask Nick to do the staff report.
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the Planning Commission, we'll go over some site information here. The parcel is about 1/3 of an acre. Impervious coverage is about 24%. There's bluff present in the project area with a direct slope from the lake to the lake from the building setback. Loamy sand, partially, potentially highly erodible due to the slope. Most of the lot is mowed lawn grass currently and devoid of native vegetation. There is floodplain, but it's not in the project area where the wall is. The septic system is compliant, R1 zoning district, Cedar Island Lake is the water body. Property owners, they submitted an application back in May for a variance to add a deck and second-story addition that didn't meet setbacks. As part of that process, they were notified that proceeding with the variance request would require compliance with all other aspects of the property, including this after-the-fact permit application for the retaining wall on the lake side of the structure. It was constructed years ago by previous owners. It was not the current owners that constructed this. And then they submitted their application for this after-the-fact conditional use permit. There's 2 sections of retaining walls, one on either side of the steps that come down. The north wall is 73 feet by about 3.5 to 4 feet tall. The south wall is 26 feet long and again up to 4 feet tall. Aerial imagery shows it was constructed and or modified between like 2005 and 2008 timeframe. Shoreline permits for anything like this would have been required after the mid-1980s in this area. They did come up with a planting plan. We talked about this a little bit, and they worked with Minnesota Native Landscapes to develop a native planting plan for the, there's a few areas indicated in the pictures. Essentially, 3 separate areas shown. The north side above the retaining wall is about 1,600 square feet. The shoreline slope would be enhanced, that's about 1,600 square feet. And then a buffer above the shoreline slope area to be enhanced, and that's about 825 square feet. The retaining wall has been in place for many years. There's no current erosion concerns associated with the wall at this time. The planting plan is sufficient to meet the minimum requirements, and it will also reduce the surface runoff from the slope to allow for some more infiltration into the ground instead of it running across the surface. It conforms to the requirements of the permit and is aligned with the goals of the comprehensive plan. So there's 2 proposed conditions. One is that the planting plan as proposed would be implemented by June 15th of next year. And then in terms of a financial guarantee of cash escrow or letter of credit for $5,000 shall be submitted to Stearns County to ensure establishment of the planting plan, and that would be returned once 70% of the vegetation cover is achieved. I did not receive any correspondence on this item. I believe that's all I got.
Thank you, Nick. Do the Wicks, first introduce yourselves, give your name and address, and then if you have any comments, additional comments.
Dave Wick, 18598 Cedar Lane, Richmond, Minnesota.
Lane, sorry. Richmond.
Thank you. Do you have any additional comments you'd like to add? Any?
No, that pretty much, I guess, sums it up.
Okay.
We bought the house a little over a year ago, and from my understanding, yeah, that wall's been there for 20-plus years from the previous owner, and it's in good shape, no deterioration, and straight and level, and I think doing what it was originally intended to do.
Okay. At this time, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak regarding this matter? Come forward, please.
Good evening.
Would
Good
you
evening.
State
My
your
name
name
is-
and address. for
My
the
name is
record.
Scott Gerken, and I have a few addresses in the county, some in Richmond, some just down from their property. I just wanted to say a few words. First of all,
Scott, could you give us maybe the address where you live?
how about 15463 County Road 21?
Great.
And that'd be Watkins, which is a few miles from the project. So I guess I'm a little concerned, and I think this is probably maybe the county's way of doing things, but the way that it was handled, I don't think it was very efficient or professional in that when he applied for the variance, the first one was denied, and now he has to come back and pay for and then apply for this variance. So he's gonna have to pay for this, and then you guys are probably gonna charge him, or Nick's office will, with a after-the-fact penalty on top of it. And I think as a county, they're trying to do the right thing. The wall isn't damaged, they're not shoveling, they're not moving any dirt. I think the county should take a look at that and probably waive either both those fees or definitely the penalty fee. Second, I don't think that they should have to put down $7,000 or $5,000 cash down to ensure that they're going to do the work. They came to the county to get the proper variances for their house and now for the retaining wall that is doing its job just fine. If you're going to insist that they pay that, I think you should pay it back with interest when they complete the property, just as though it were a loan to the county like anybody else would expect interest on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to this matter? Any other public testimony? Anyone? Then I'll declare the public hearing closed. Does the commission have any questions for staff or the applicant?
I just have a question for the applicants. Do you have any comments about what the gentleman just said?
I guess Yeah, I understand there's a permit fee, there's an after the fact fee. I guess we want to get the project done. At the same time, it's been 20-plus years, we did not do it. I guess the penalty part is what it is, but I guess in my honest opinion, I guess, yeah, I don't agree with that. Why we're being penalized when, like I said, we had nothing to do with it in the first place. So I guess we'll do what needs to be done, but I guess that would, at the end of the day, probably, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I've got a couple things. First of all, Angie, do they have the ability to request an appeal on that at all?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Persky, the appeal on the fee,
Yes.
yes, they could request relief from the County Board of Commissioners. Just for the public's and the Planning Commission's benefit, the reason there's after-the-fact fees charged is we can't go and find the seller of the property and fine them for something that they did 20 years ago. Our office has substantial investment in these projects that are after the fact. We have a lot of staff time that goes into them, and so when the commissioners set the fees for 2026, they were very aware that after the fact fees were going to be higher to counteract those costs. Or else, obviously the result is the levy dollars that everyone else in the county is going to be picking up. So that's a county commissioner or county board of commissioners decision, 100%. I would ask that the planning commission not give an opinion on that. Commissioner Persky, if you want to pursue something to that effect, that would be up to you as a commissioner.
I just, when we, increase those fees, the idea was when we have people that are actively making changes and they try to get by intentionally and are still at the property owners. This is a little bit more unique when it's the good number of years have passed, and of course they weren't involved with the actual construction of that wall, so, yeah.
I have a question, Angie. It was mentioned that they had a variance for the building project you want to do that was turned down because of this, or the different reason?
Mr. Chair, members of the Planning Commission, so the variance was denied for the reasons that the Board of Adjustment established, not related to the retaining wall. But there's a provision in our ordinance that states if you have a violation on your property, you need to correct that violation before you can apply for any permits. So they were aware, unfortunately, the variance was denied, and now they're here to obtain approval to keep the walls as existing.
Okay, so one has nothing to do with the other.
No, it just one triggered the other,
Okay.
but was not part of the findings for the Board of Adjustment's decision.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, the other questions I had was regards to the shoreline. It looks like you're going to be doing a rather extensive restoration on the shoreline, which is quite good. We like to see that. And then as far as the rock is concerned, the rock at the base of the shoreline, there's going to be no additional rock put in, is that correct?
No.
And there's no erosion taking place at that time, at this time at all? So,
No.
okay, I just wanted to be clear on that.
Nick, when the planting plan occurs on this property, could you run through how that's going to progress? Do they have to kill the existing grass that's there?
Yep, so some of that's outlined in the fees that Minnesota Native Landscapes put together in their estimate. But so you terminate the existing vegetation that's there. It's usually sprayed. You might do a touch-up spray to terminate the remaining vegetation that's still there. Ideally, the planting happens later in the fall, and then it'll overwinter, and then in the spring it starts to come through. Fall plantings, you get a little bit better establishment that following year. So then once it's 70% cover, that financial guarantee is released. We follow up with a site visit, verify that it's growing, then the financial guarantee can be released. I did just want to make one more note as well on that financial guarantee. The standard for financial guarantees is 125% of the cost of the project. Because this was an additional cost with this after-the-fact fee and they did not do this project themselves, we did lower that to the $5,000, so that is substantially less than what our standard 125% of the cost financial guarantee would be as well. So that is a measure that was taken to address that part.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just want to make sure that we are not voting on the costs and so forth. We are really voting on a shoreline alternation improvements, really what you're doing as far as planting, correct? And approving that plan, not necessarily the cost, the permits, the variances and so forth, just to be clear on that. So for my part, I like what you're proposing to do on a shoreline to protect the water quality. As far as the cost, there is apparently a process to really challenge that and have that discussion with the board directly. I don't think the planning commission will weigh on that tonight.
I mean, the concern I have about terminating the existing sod that's there is erosion. Is that a concern, and how is that going to be addressed?
Sure, Mr. Chair. So Minnesota Native Landscapes is an established contractor that's done a lot of work in the county and elsewhere in the state. So it's a common practice when you terminate that. You still have that vegetation, the dead, vegetative cover. It's not like it's a disturbed area, where you're tearing out all the roots and everything. And then in addition, after planting, it all gets covered up again. If there are areas with disturbed soil, it gets covered with the erosion control blanket and covered. And then over winter, it's not a concern with snow cover. And with all of that covered, it does grow through pretty well. And erosion's not an issue from what I saw in their proposal here. This is done. It's very commonly done on slopes like this and much steeper even.
What if we vote to recommend not to approve this? What would they have to do to the property?
Then the retaining wall would need to be removed, or they would have to bring it down to what an administrative minor shoreline alteration permit would allow, which would actually be very limited here due to the slope that's present. So essentially the wall would have to be removed if it was denied.
Do we have an idea of what the area looked like before the wall was put up?
It's hard to tell. I mean, it probably looked somewhat similar to the adjacent slope. Again, I mean, a lot of these areas have been altered to some extent over the years, so there's really no way to know even reasonably close necessarily what it was like. Like I did mention, there were permits just a couple of houses down on both sides of them from the 80s. They were substantially smaller projects, but a lot of these areas have had alterations done in some form over time. And as I noted, there's no substantial erosion issue or runoff problems that this wall is causing at the present time. It's been here a while, and it's not. If there were areas of concentrated runoff or erosion problems or something, then that might be something that I would really want some clarity on, and we would have probably talked about that more to address that. But that's not the case from what I've seen here.
Okay. Are there any other questions of the applicant or staff, or any discussion amongst the commission? Are we ready to move to the finding of fact? Number one, can the applicant sufficiently document that the alteration was done to protect water quality, improve aesthetics, control erosion, or enhance habitat? Please describe the reasons the applicant made the alteration and include documentation if possible or if available.
Mr. Chair?
Angie?
Yep, in my opinion, the applicant has made sufficiently documented that the alternation will take place as appropriately as requested by the county to improve aesthetic, control erosion, and enhance water, protect the water quality. And documentation is submitted with this, together with proposed conditions by the county.
Okay. Number two, why did the applicant fail to obtain an alteration permit or comply with requirements before commencing work. That's kind of obvious, they didn't do it. Some previous owner. Do you know it was the previous owner or several owners previous?
One previous owner.
Okay. Number 3, did the applicant obtain all other required permits and comply with other requirements? Please identify all other required permits and whether the applicant obtained the permits.
Mr. Chair, the applicant was required to apply for this permit, to apply for his variance request, and he had to do a compliance inspection on the septic system.
Thank you, Dave. Number 4, is the alteration in a sensitive area, like a shore or bluff impact zone, a wetland buffer, county biological survey site, or other documented high-value habitat? Identify and describe all sensitive areas. I would guess it was just the shore or bluff impact zone, and the others probably did not impact this site.
It doesn't look, it's in a floodplain, right? And it's not in a wetland area.
Number 5, is the alteration visible from the lake or public water? Describe the degree to which the alteration is visible.
Mr. Chair, it is visible from the water, but it's going to be, I would say, enhancing the appearance from the standpoint, you're going to see the natural vegetation that you have planned for it.
Thank you, Rich. Number 6, does the alteration affect the character of the neighborhood, or will it result in a substantial detriment to neighboring properties? Describe all substantial changes and detriments.
Mr. Chair, I don't, the alteration will not negatively affect the neighborhood or neighboring properties. In fact, it's going to enhance our aesthetic, the character, the vegetative buffer, erosion sediment control, water quality, stormwater system management, wildlife, and all that, efficient. So it's really a positive effort.
Thank you, Angie. Number 7, did the alteration reduce or eliminate an existing buffer between the ordinary high water level, water and impervious surfaces, or create a more direct conduit for stormwater flow into public waters? Please describe for the answer.
Again, Mr.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Cindy.
Mr. Chair, I was just going to clarify that I believe that the alteration improves the existing buffer and will improve the stormwater flow.
Thank you. Okay, Angie? Anything to add?
Yeah, I want to echo what was said. The proposed alteration, right, will improve the water quality because it will filter that first runoff. It will reduce that pollutants coming into the water, really. So it's again, all in all, the proposed vegetation plan, vegetative plan, et cetera, is commendable.
Number 8.
Chair, I just want to point out that, are we referring to the alteration in the retaining walls that were put in? And then to remedy the situation there, this property owner is getting natural vegetation involved to do a better job of anchoring the bluff area.
Thank you, Rich. Number 8, did the alteration change or damage any of the following categories? Describe the change or damage for each category. Aesthetics of the shore as viewed from the public water, character of the neighborhood or shoreline, vegetated buffer, erosion or sediment control device or system, stormwater management device or system, fish or wildlife habitat, or water quality. Now, I think we're talking about the original alteration.
Mr. Chair, I believe that it did alter the aesthetics with the view from the lake. And it may have altered some of the stormwater drainage to the lake. There was no indication of erosion. That's about it.
Number 9, could the applicant mitigate the damage or change without removing the alteration and restoring the site? Please explain how mitigation would occur and the results of the mitigation. I think Nick described what would happen if we had to restore it. Anyone who want to add anything to that?
Mr. Chair, I believe that removing the existing retaining wall possibly could cause more damage than leaving the wall in and making or doing the vegetative buffers.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. Number 10, would the minimum benefits to the county appear to be far outweighed by the detriment the applicant would suffer if forced to restore the alteration? Why or why not? And then describe the minimum benefits and details of the detriment to the applicant.
Mr. Chair, I don't see any benefits to the county of having them restore the alteration back to its previous condition.
Any other opinions on that?
Mr. Chair, I do believe there is a feasible plan to actually mitigate the damage of the previous alteration, I guess, without removing the alteration and putting together, implementing this planting plan that we have been discussing today. And yeah, there is no benefit to the county to remove, in my opinion, retaining wall. It's actually more damage, probably erosion and steeper slopes and the water quality. I don't know how would water quality benefit, plus the owners will incur substantial cost.
Okay. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve or deny the request.
Mr. Chair?
Rich?
I move that we approve the after-the-fact application with the two proposed conditions in regards to the planting and the financial guarantee.
I'll second.
Rich made a motion to approve the after-the-fact request. Dave seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I believe the county commissioners will make the final determination. We're a recommending board. The commissioners will make a final determination, I think, September 15? That sound right? I think I saw that somewhere. Thank you. Sorry you had to go through this. It's
That commissioners meeting, is that anything that we have to attend as well, or?
if you want to talk about the fees, maybe?
Thank you.
Our next item is to consider request for a conditional use permit submitted by Jaron and Brenda Nathy of Melrose. Jaron, would you come forward, please? According to the requirements of Stearns County Land Use and Zoning Ordinance 439, Section 6.8 requires a conditional use permit for feedlots with 700 animal units or more that are proposing changes. The property under consideration is located at 41887 County Road 13, Melrose. Members who visited the site, I did. Cindy?
Yes.
Dave?
No.
Rich?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
And Commissioner Persky?
Yes.
Okay. Amber, would you care to give us a staff report?
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. The applicant is looking to increase animal units up to 818, construct a 40 by 64 total confinement barn, which is number 8 on the map, and also planning to expand the manure stockpile area, the concrete stockpile pad, by about a third, 5,300 square feet to be a total of 15,000 square feet. And then during the review of this site, it was found that there was an existing settling basin that was on a plan from NRCS back in 2008 that was just overlooked. So that's also getting added to the permit. It does meet all the requirements, so that's noted on here as well. The feedlot was originally registered back in February of 1999 for 342 animal units. The last permit was issued May 7th of 2018 for 698 animal units. And this July, a registration came in for 804 animal units, and that was over the maximum for the site, so that's what triggered a non-compliance letter sent to the landowners. When that letter was sent, then an application was submitted on July 8th, proposing the increase to the 818 animal units. So I was out there on July 8th for a compliance inspection and determined the facility to be compliant with water quality. And I also did review records and a manure management plan, and both were found compliant as well. All surrounding properties are zoned A80. The nearest residence is 3,288 feet to the west. FRC did review this request on August 5th at their meeting and did approve it with the recommended, with the staff recommendations, or conditions, I should say. And if approved, it would go to the county board meeting September 15th, 2026. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Amber. Jaren, would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Jaren Nathy, 35073 County Road 13, Melrose.
Do you have anything to add to the report?
I don't. She covered it very well, I believe.
Okay. Well, we'll open the public hearing at this time. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to make a comment? Anyone? Anyone? At this time, we'll close the public hearing. Does any of the commission have any questions for the staff or applicant? Kind of quiet. Is there any further discussion? I always like it when no one's here to, from the public to complain, if you will. That means you're doing a good job out there. Are we ready for the finding the fact? I guess we are. Is the proposal consistent with the Stearns County zoning ordinance, number 439? Please specify all performance standards that apply.
Mr. Chair, it is consistent with zoning ordinance 439, sections 4.8, 4.14, 6.8, and 9.2.
Thanks, Rich. Number 2, is there an environmental assessment worksheet, environmental impact statement, national pollution discharge elimination system, state disposal system, or other permit required for this facility?
Mr. Chair, it was indicated that no additional permits were needed.
Thank you, Cindy. Does the proposal conform to the goals and objectives of the Stearns County Comprehensive Land Use Plan? Please specify the appropriate sections.
Mr. Chair, I think that the application complies with the agriculture pillar goals that support agriculture as a desirable land use for the long term and facilitate diversification of the county's agricultural economy, as well as with the living pillar, manage the impacts of the growth and development on the county's rural character and natural resources.
Thank you, Angie. Number 4, will the site configuration, number, and types of animals at this site and prevailing wind conditions impact any of the following? Traffic, public safety, schools, parks, churches, or other municipal or residential areas, or any other impacts? I don't think it will, being he's, 3,000 some feet from the closest neighbor. Number 5, has information been provided regarding the impact to property values in the area as a result of the proposal?
Mr. Chair, none have been provided.
Thanks, Rich. Number 6, have all recommendations from the Feedlot Review Committee and feedlot staff been reviewed?
Mr. Chair, I believe they have.
Okay, and number 7, are there any other issues pertinent to this matter? I guess we could list just the 2 conditions that have been listed. They may be pertinent. Okay, again, note that the Planning Commission is a recommending body to the county board, and any motion related to the conditional use permit should be made in that context that the county board makes the final decision. So can I get a motion to approve or deny this request?
I move a motion to approve with the conditions, 2 staff conditions.
I will second that.
Angie made a motion. Rich made a second the motion. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The county commissioners will make a final determination on September 15th. And so you're good to go unless...
Yep.
Thanks, Jaron.
Thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions of the minutes of July 23rd meeting? If not, I am looking for a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Rich moved and Dave seconded the motion to approve the minutes of the July 23rd meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. If there's nothing else that anyone has, I guess I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Dave, are you going to second that motion?
Second.
Dave seconded the motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Dave.
You're gonna do every meeting.